The Florida Podcast Network, the voice of Florida.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Bean Gene. Bean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, naval alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Live from Peach Time Out in the heart of Times Square, you're listening to Beach Talk Radio with Kim and Ed Ryan.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to Beach Talk Radio. Today, Saturday, November 9, 2019. And we are broadcasting live from Peach Time Out on Fort Myers Beach. We're live on video on both Facebook and the YouTube. And also audio, you can listen to us on our app. And you can also listen to us on iHeartRadio and all your favorite podcast apps. You can download us any time of the day, any night, and whatever podcast app you listen to us on. All of our Facebook Live feeds are sponsored by the Salty Dog Gallery and Gifts on Estero Boulevard, specializing in custom painted furniture and signs of all types. 14 years in business for Carla and the Salty Dog, and we sure do hope you stop by and spend some of your hard-earned money with Carla and the folks at the Salty Dog. If you'd rather listen, of course, you can also turn on over to beachtalkradio.com, our website, where we're broadcasting live there. And we want to say hello to everybody listening live on the Florida Podcast Network. All right, dear, welcome back.
Well, thank you.
Are you feeling better?
I am feeling much better.
After a week of the flu?
Well, I don't think it was the flu. It wasn't the flu. It was a bacterial infection. So,
all right.
Thanks to the good people at Millennium Physicians Group.
Well, what happened first was you went in for a shot. Oh, I didn't tell this story. I'll save it to the end about what happened when she got a shot. And then I called her and all I heard was, but we'll wait until that happens later on. Talk about that later on in the show. And then the rash thing. We have to talk about the rash thing. That was another interesting.
It's been a week.
Yeah. So we'll save that for the end after our fine guests leave, and then have to listen about why you got a rash.
Now they're wishing they weren't sitting next to me, but I'm not contagious.
All right. And for everybody that didn't know, tomorrow we're having a special show for veterans at 9:00 outside at Table 23. We're going to have 5 veterans here, and they're going to sit around Table 23 and tell stories about their service, and we're going to buy them all breakfast. Monday's Veterans Day, so we hope you'll come on down to Pete's Time Out both today and tomorrow for Veterans Day on our special at 9:00. So right now, I'm going to turn it over to you for an introduction to our guests. All right, right. Ray Sproul and Lee Melsick are from this longest committee that Fort Myers Beach has, the Bay Oaks Recreational Campus Advisory Board. Welcome to the show, Ray. Thank you, Ray, and thank you, Lee.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing well.
The rash is gone, I'm hoping.
The rash is gone. You wouldn't have seen it anyways. But thank you for coming down today. And the weather is it's nice, but
it is. It's actually open windows. This is the first time for the year we've had the windows open of the season, so it is nice.
So you guys are joining us to talk about Bay Oaks and what's going on down there, which I listened to one of the committee meetings, which they're long, and that was a little rough. And then I listened to one of the council meetings where you guys were all sitting down and everybody was speaking their piece. Mm-hmm. And so that was a little bit more lively. So first of all, tell us about Bay Oaks just in general.
Well, the recreation center was built by the county in 1985. Dave Tisch was the architect. I wrote stories on it for the News Press. It was built all wrong. The county kept cutting back on the money. That's how the rooms in it became so small. It was originally going to have larger rooms.
Mm-hmm.
The roof, as far as I know, still leaks, always leaked. Dave promised he'd get the roof fixed. It was his design, but he never did. And they've always had a problem with the roof. It's essentially a basketball gym.
Okay. I think you said in the meeting, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the wrong place to put that place in the first place.
Well, it probably was. And I don't know. I don't remember the discussions back in '84 when they began planning it. The baseball fields were there.
Okay.
In '56, a bunch of us kids in Little League helped build that first field, and they were there. I thought at the time it was school property. It may have been county property, which is another issue. But they were there, and so the county decided to put the building by the ball field. In '99, they built the swimming pool, the county, and turned it over to the town. There probably was at time a better place for that campus. I'm not sure there would be today. Back in '85, there was still some room out here. But there's been problems with that building ever since. And that's why we've been in discussions for the past year, coaxing the town toward perhaps replacing the building, expanding the campus, creating more programs, creating a better facility for the seniors. And I think we'd like to talk about that today.
Now, Ray, before we get into something that came up at the meeting, you have a relatively successful history at Bay Oaks with your kids.
When we moved to the island, the very first place that we went to after we bought our business was the library. Well, so second, the library, and then the rec center, because our kids at the time were 12, 7, and 6 boys. So we wanted them a place to meet friends, place they can go and play Little League baseball. And I remember walking in, it was still owned by the county at the time, and it served its needs. But even then, it still had a lot of issues that they have done a great job for the kids to change it around. But my kids, we coached Little League. We played soccer on those fields. We coached soccer. They've played basketball there. They played flag football. We moved here, and literally a month later, they were playing flag football and meeting kids on the island. So for a new kid on an island, Bay Oaks is where you need to go.
So
for them to meet a kid.
The first thing that I noticed from the meeting, well, let me back up a little bit.
Which meeting?
The most recent meeting that you were at,
Okay.
that we watched on YouTube. I think it was last week, or it was the most recent committee meeting. And just to backtrack a little bit, the town just raised taxes. And the reason I think they raised taxes because they were going to do something with the money to improve or knock down and rebuild Bay Oaks.
That's the feeling that we're getting as a committee.
Having set the stage like that, when I first saw the meeting, I almost got the impression that there were people thinking that maybe Bay Oaks needs to go.
There's always going to be people that,
like elected people.
Yes, you're going to have elected people. You're going to have town, residents. A lot of them don't find the value, but because they don't use it.
Right.
Part of it is that Bay Oaks isn't providing maybe the programs that they would use, which is we're limited to the structure of that building. That maybe a different structure, different design can provide more services. So I don't know. I think most of the town council, I get the feeling, is willing to do. They don't want to get rid of Bay Oaks, is the feeling I get. I don't know. What do you, Lee?
No, I don't think they do. We've been in discussions for the past year on replacing the building eventually, not tomorrow or next week. But I think it's good that the town begins the process. What we've done is, I think we persuaded the town, the advisory board has persuaded the town to begin the process of replacing that building and adding facilities to accommodate more people and everyone on the island. Now, I think what we really need to do now, and by the way, the council, as I understand it, will meet a week from this Monday, the 18th, I think at 9 a.m. Hopefully, they're going to adopt the plan.
We have a new, not necessarily a 5-year plan, but a going forward, these are the actions that we would like to see done. I can't think of what they're calling it. It's been called so many things. Do you remember what they're calling it now?
No, it's changed. It's an action plan.
It's short-term goals, long-term goals. It's actions for the director for both of those to meet all of those needs.
And some of those have to do with who owns what property, because
Yes.
there's
Well, that's another
a
issue.
significant amount of confusion.
That's another
Yes.
issue. But they're going to meet. Hopefully, they're going to adopt our plan, the plan that we've met a couple of times with the council now in joint meetings to
Mhm.
discuss it. They seem to be in favor of what we've been talking about. What we really need, what I would really like to see now, is the residents of Fort Myers Beach to come forward. Tell us what they want.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Tell us what they want. We visited other parks and recs in the county. I was just at the Estero Recreation
Yeah.
Center the other day. I've been to Sanibel. It's
Sanibel's very
beautiful.
nice.
The building at Estero is beautiful.
Beautiful.
The county owns that one. The city of Sanibel owns theirs, but they have interlocal agreements with the county and the school board. We have none. Which is another discussion when you start talking about finances. But it would really be great if the people of Fort Myers Beach would begin their input on what they want. What do the seniors want?
Mm-hmm.
What do the families with kids want? Our vision is really a beautiful one, something for everybody that wants to
A
become
gathering place is what we're
a
As
trying to
gathering
do.
Joanne
place.
said,
I
yeah,
love
a
that.
gathering
I
place.
love that
place for
name.
the people of Fort Myers Beach, and we need their help.
Yeah, because correct me if I'm wrong, there was a talk about that the membership, I think Anita was kind of bowled over is what she said, that it was the 1,100.
Yeah, but you
But
know what?
which
She
doesn't
wasn't
represent-
right. What she wasn't saying was the actual usage numbers, and those
Right.
numbers are pretty high.
What do you have any idea what the usage numbers are?
It changes. The problem is that it changes from November to December. March is a huge month. When there's pickleball month, or when pickleball's really going full, the numbers are skyrocket.
So people don't, the membership, to use the facility, do you have to be a member?
You either have to be a member or you pay a day fee.
Okay.
And
Okay.
now for all residents of Fort Myers Beach can be members. You have to go down and actually give them your name and your email and all that, but it is free for residents. So there's no excuse. We've gone round and round on that one.
It's so silly for it to be free. I mean, I get it, but I mean, now you're faced with a situation where there's so much work that's needed, and there's
even,
no.
you know what? I looked up Waxahachie. We had this discussion, and we all have various opinions on that one. Waxahachie charges a one-time fee. I think it's $15 individual. And I think people can wrap their heads around that.
Sure.
That's not our decision to make. That's town council's. But it was also limiting people where I'm only going once a year or twice a year. I don't want to pay a yearly fee.
I mean, if you have a menu of fees, I mean, if you look at the way fitness is these days, there are people that are paying $150 for a 30-hour workout every month.
You're correct.
If it's just my opinion anyway.
But people they do pay a fee to use the if there's an instructor, they do pay, and it's still $10. I
Right.
think it averages around $10, which is still a bargain because they've got a whole gamut of different types of programs, and we'll offer more if they know there's a need and there's enough people that would do
Well,
it.
and I think that was one of the things that one of the members brought up is that, some people, because it's recreation, that's in the name, people they walk on the beach, they do that stuff. So they're like, well, what do I really need to go there for? So I think it is important, as you were saying, for the community members to come out and say, what other programs would they be interested in there?
Absolutely.
And change the name, maybe, because I think recreation does engender working out
Right.
and this
A community
and that.
center
A
might
community
maybe
center,
eventually.
a gathering spot, whatever,
Right.
but something more inclusive of everybody's
Right.
needs. Yeah.
I think the part of it is people have to be willing to come out and actually just be social, which is why we need a gathering place. I know the seniors program, they do during season, I call it a field trip, but they go.
Yeah, they're going to
I
the
want to go to
Keys.
some of
I
them. I'm like, can I go? I know. I'm like, what is the age limit on this? Because they do have a lot to offer, but when you talk to people, they're like, oh, I never heard about it.
Right.
One
Which
of the
is
things
another problem.
we like, we've talked about, I think our advisory board would like to have, is a band shelter for concerts. Down in Naples at Cambier Park, the Marine Band comes and plays. They have
Bonita has one.
I think you could get nice turnouts on Fort Myers Beach with and if they can't put up a band shelter right now, for the immediate future, I think they should be taking advantage of the big field outfield, where I think you could have jazz on the green, or
You could get a lot of people
do
out
the
for
kind of
those.
things other communities do very successfully.
I think what's lacking is you guys were sitting around that table brainstorming about having a food truck festival, and there were other ideas that I thought they just sounded great. I think the having an event coordinator of some sort where you
Which
have
is
people
something that is under discussion to have one for the town and overall that can use the Bay Oaks
would be great.
property. And and we also, there's Newton Park. There's other
Right.
places on the island depending on the venue and the event.
So I was biking to Peach this morning,
Uh-huh.
and I come from Bonita, and I made the turn at let me think if it was a library or a town hall. It was over there, and I was riding around the parking lot of the school. I still couldn't find Bay Oaks.
Yeah.
I know.
And so I think part of the challenge is it's out of sight, it's out of mind. So you have to market it if it's not on if it's
Correct.
you don't have a great location and you don't.
Well,
so I think that's part of the issue with
That's a
Bay
big
Oaks.
part of it.
Yeah,
Marketing has been lax in the past. You have to remember that Bay Oaks, since the town incorporated in '95, the county owned it and turned it over to the town in '09. It has gone through, since the town has had it, one director after another. There's been no consistency down there. The marketing was pretty bad, which is why I think there's not enough people using it. We have our different opinions on that, but I'm sorry, but when I go down there and walk in the building, I don't see people, I see open space. And so, although they do have a wonderful summer camp for kids, I was there for some of the summer camps, and they really run an excellent program. And it needs to be said that right now, and hopefully for a long time, Bay Oaks has a wonderful staff.
They do.
The two people in charge down there, Allison Geeson and Sarah Mayer, do an absolutely outstanding job. They are tireless,
They're
and
very cohesive.
they need
I
to
think
be.
there's
The
a
town needs to
cohesiveness
wrap
in
them in
them.
a warm blanket and see that they stay, because we need some consistency down there. That's been one of
Blanket
the big
of cash.
problems in the past.
Well, cash. You know what? Cash is going to be great, but there's things that can be done in the meantime to start,
I think if you had a pickleball tournament, everybody would show up. For
Absolutely.
some reason, pickleball
it is huge.
is the thing. I've never seen a pickleball game. I don't know how to play it, but pickleball's the thing. So can you use all the outfield space and just throw up some pickleball
it
fields?
has to have a hard. I believe I've never played. It's got to have a harder surface. So the
Give
ball
people a few
fields,
drinks and they'll play pickleball anywhere, I guess, right?
It is huge. And there's been the discussion: do we put more courts? And we're trying to figure out how to.
I think they moved it
coordinate
inside, didn't they?
They have inside and they've turned the tennis courts can be turned into them as
Wow.
well. But do you dedicate that land that in 10 years, pickleball is not going to be the rage anymore
Right,
and it's going to be
right.
something else?
Yeah.
So you got to use the land in a way that it can be multi-purpose. But there's talk about trying to turn the parking lots into using them for mornings. They don't have enough pickleball courts during season.
And there's another problem: parking.
Yes.
The other problem, what we need to do
Lee, you've identified a lot of problems.
sooner or later, bringing people in to tell us what they want, but sooner or later, you're going to have to figure out who owns what down there. I think the school board owns most of the land, but there are pockets of county-owned land. I was president of the Historic Society for 3 years and we met in the historic cottages on the other side of the property. And I tried to get some of that property back there for a historic village like the one Sanibel has. A lot of these historic places are going to be coming up with redevelopment. And some of the developers are willing to move those buildings to us for free. We don't have a place to put them. So we can talk till we're blue in the face about redevelopment of Bay Oaks. But before we can do that, we need to know what land we can have
Right.
back there.
Mhm.
And I think we've persuaded the town to perhaps get in discussions with the county and the school board to see what we can have.
Well, I mean, if you're going to rebuild something or change something, you have to know
Right.
before you can even go to an architect what
Right.
space you have.
Right. Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
So that would be key number one.
We've
And
talked about, for example, maybe a separate building for a senior center.
Mhm.
The Sanibel has that, and Bonita has that. They have a separate building for senior centers. Perhaps if we had enough land, we could do both.
So it's sort of the idea of the group that something bigger would be better.
Yes. You know,
Yeah, I think
you
so.
got to look at the grand picture and what land do we have to work with in that grand picture and have all the things that we want, such as the ball fields and maybe a senior center and a gathering place and a band shell. There's a lot of land back there.
Mhm.
But
If
the
it's
first thing,
redesigned right.
the first thing the architect is going to ask you is, what do they
Yeah.
want here? And so it has to begin with more public input.
I think the first place that comes up with a band shelter is going to rock the beach because I mean it's going
Well,
to.
I'm assuming you were at when the boat show did their Thursday night parade.
No, I was asleep.
Yeah.
I go to
Okay,
bed
and that's
early.
bad subject. Okay.
No.
Well, but I'm going to tell you, as a resident and being here 12 years, that was one of the nicest.
Where did they
nights.
play? Where was the band?
No band.
Oh,
No, but just the amount of locals that came out.
yeah.
We saw more locals on that day than we've seen in 12 years in one event.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll come out
So
for events.
they
and-
will come out for things. They don't want to
It'll-
come out at noon.
right.
A, we work.
Right.
B, it's too
Yeah.
hot.
Have some jazz music or whatever.
have
You mix it
events
up.
on
You
that,
mix it up.
yes.
Kenny
There's
G.
a
little-
variety of
You like Kenny
concerts.
G. Lee?
Absolutely.
You like Kenny G?
Yeah.
Bring Kenny G down to Fort Myers
He
Beach.
used to
That'd be
play
cool.
up at the old Red
Yeah,
Sox Park.
I love Kenny G. It's a flute, right? Or is it a trumpet?
Yeah.
So
But
as
yeah,
far as
you can have a variety of entertainment with a band shelter, or right now, even on that outfield in the big field,
You
there's
could.
plenty of room to spread out a blanket and listen to some good music. I'm sorry that this town has not done that, or county in the past. They need to do that.
Mhm.
So what are some of the ideas for getting the input from the community? Because
Well, we've tried
Thank you.
surveys. We've tried online surveys. We've had mailers in the water bill. It's just people are going to need to.
It's not easy out here.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's never
Send
been
an
easy.
email. You know what? If you don't want to drive down or walk down to Bay Oaks or stop in town hall, just send somebody within Bay Oaks or the town. Shoot them an email, or put it. I think if there's something you really, really want, that's what's got to be done.
Again, and that's something else. Another reason we need good marketing team.
Yeah.
I think we need a team, but
Let's get
again,
one. Let's start with one.
I'm not a marketer. I don't.
Or one for the town or whatever.
I'm
it
not
is,
sure
let's
how
get
to
one.
bring people together. But
Let's start with a sign on Estero Boulevard that's big enough
that
where
is in
people
the
can
board.
see
Well, we
it
have
with a big arrow.
We have the lot now.
Yeah.
We have the lot, and there's still discussions on what to be done with the lot. Originally,
I don't know what that means
I
compared to a
recall-
sign. We need a
I
sign.
recall that there was to be signage there.
Yeah. Oh, by the lot.
So I'm still in favor of putting signage there.
You any good at pickleball, Lee?
No,
You don't play pickleball?
no.
Shuffleboard?
As
What's
a
your
little
game?
boy, I played shuffleboard out here.
As a little boy?
Out here, the guy next door had a shuffleboard court.
What's your sport now?
on Pearl Street.
What do you play now?
I watch a lot of football.
You watch football?
I was in the first Little League out here in 56.
Nice. Who was the coach?
Oh, my coach was Joey Mazzola.
Oh, no way.
Oh,
Never
yeah.
heard of him.
Joey Mazzola. and then we were in the first county Babe Ruth League team out here.
Nice.
John Tyson was our coach. I got the county to spring for $8,000 to put that monument up at the ball
Look at you.
fields
Look at you.
with the names of the original 3 Little League teams and the coaches and the Babe Ruth
What
League
was your
team.
batting average back then?
I was a pretty good hitter. I
Yeah.
led the league in stolen bases.
I asked you what your batting average was, not how fast you ran.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
Oh, come on, Lee.
You remember everything.
I'm pretty old. And
Lee, you're still on the Historical Society too, right?
no, I'm not. I was president. I was vice president 2 years, president for 3 years. I keep in touch with Fran Santini and AJ Bassett.
I love AJ Bassett.
AJ and I are very close.
Yes.
Fran and I are very close. I was at Fran's house the other day.
I've had tea at AJ Bassett's house.
By the way, folks out there in Radio Land or podcast land,
Nice.
the
Look at you.
Historical Society could use some help too.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
looking
sure.
for an archivist. AJ can't do it anymore. They need an archivist. All the records are there. The greatest collection of old Fort Myers Beach photographs are down
That
there.
sounds interesting.
Are down there. It is a wonderful
Ray's
display.
gonna
Very
sign up.
interesting.
Ray's
I-
They
gonna
need
I
some
thought about
help.
it.
They
He's had
need
enough
some
of the
help.
committee.
And by the way, town council, if any of
Yeah, I
you
love
are
it.
listening,
He's filibustering.
they could use some help from the town too. The town of Fort Myers Beach has never really been close to the Historic Society.
Really?
The
That's
Mountain
crazy
House
talk.
is not the Historic Society,
Mm.
and they could use a little more interaction with the town.
Yeah. History. Oh, JJ was just telling some fascinating stories when I sat with her and her dog. I wish I could remember her dog's name.
She's much older than me,
Oh, stop.
but
were you,
she's lived out here since 40. I lived out here from 1950 to 2012.
were you here when the swing bridge was still here?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember how much it cost?
No, the swing bridge didn't cost anything.
Well, whatever the other bridge was that you had to pay.
The first bridge was a wooden bridge, and I believe you paid 18 or
No,
22 cents.
You're not even close. Lee, 54 cents. Come on.
I think originally it was
Lee,
less than that.
check the history books.
I think when people started coming out, they upped the price.
All right. Well, anything else you want everybody to know
Standard
about
was
Bay Oaks?
18 cents, and the popcorn was a nickel.
You know what? It's a great place for the kids.
Yes.
They provide a service for the parents that are working on the island with during Christmas break. They have event, day, where they can go for the whole day. It's a great social area for the seniors. So there's no excuse for anybody to not come to that
Right.
facility.
Well, go down, check it out, see what it's about. If you've never been there, it's free. If you live on the
Even if
island-
you just want to come in and walk around, just say,
Listen.
hey, I want to do a walk around.
Instead of going to the bar and having a beer, go
Let's
to Bay
not
Oaks
forget-
and
let's
check
not
it out
forget
for
the
crying
pool
out loud.
either. Let's
And the
not
pool.
Hey, did you fix the speakers at the pool? We've got one guy that comes on Facebook every week
Oh,
and says something about the speakers at the pool.
But has he said anything to Bay Oaks?
I don't
I'm gonna
know.
be honest. That's the first I've heard about the.
I think
the
he thinks
poll
I'm going to do it.
speakers. I
But
haven't
anyway.
either. So
Well, thank you guys so
Alrighty.
much for coming on. I know you have family stuff to do, Ray, and Lee's going to go play some
Watch
pickleball
football.
or something.
FSU, Boston College.
Yeah.
FSU.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders is going to be your next coach, huh?
No, I don't think so.
No, that's what I read in the paper. The paper's always
No,
true.
I don't think so.
All right, guys.
All
Thanks
right,
so
thank
much. Have a great
you.
weekend. Enjoy the beautiful weather. I'm going to pay some bills while you hobnob with the guests that are all lined up here. All right, folks. That was very interesting. Thank you, Lee, and thank you, Ray. And folks, go down and check out Bay Oaks when you get a chance. And I want to make sure we tell you about our brand new sponsor. Can you see Marion behind us? Marion, Bay Beach Living. Marion sells Southwest Florida. That is so cool that Marion is our brand new sponsor, and we appreciate what Marion does. Her slogan is Marion sells Southwest Florida, 573-216-7984. And you can call her, you can text her, anything that you need. She's here to find you the right investment property. And everybody's so happy when they deal with Marion. We're so happy because she's part of our show and she's part of our little tribe now. So remember to give Marion a call. And whenever you need anything real estate wise, or if you just want to give her a call and say hello and, just tell her you have some issues with, your personal life or whatever. I'm just kidding about that, but we're happy that Marion's part of our show. We appreciate it very much. And also Shuckers at the Gulf Shore on the Cottage Bar located just a few steps down from the pier. Directly on the beach. They have the beautiful view. We watched the boat races from Shuckers, and it was so awesome. They're open every day, 8 a.m. They close at midnight, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a late-night menu. They also have happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 to 6. So right before you go to Bay Oaks, if you want to have a little cup of coffee in the morning or a ice cold beer in the afternoon, then go work it off at the Bay Oaks and stop on Shuckers. And say hello to our friends over there. No, we have, yes, that's correct, dear. And they have a very trendy beachfront property. So you want to go see our friends over at Shuckers and the Gulf Shore. They're really doing a lot of work. They're sprucing it up to make it look much nicer, even nicer than it is now. So we didn't think that was possible. So thank you so much to Ray and to Lee. And oh boy, Lee's got to take a positive pill or something. He really was a Debbie Downer a little bit today with all the things that are wrong. But it's nice to have the history of everything that Lee knows about it. Oh no, the crazies are here. The crazies are here. Oh, it's so good to see you guys. The last time we had you on the show was during the one of the festivals, right? Which one was it? Taste of the Beach.
In May.
That was way back in May. Time's flying. It's so nice to have Gail and Ellen back on the show. And say hello to all your millions and millions of fans out in Facebook land. And what are you guys up to?
Ann Arbor.
What is going on with
We're
your
up to no
necklace
good.
there? Put the
Hey.
microphone close. You know the drill. You've been on the show. Wait, hey. She's getting crazy already. Leave the boobs out of it, okay? What's going on with your necklace there first? What's that all
Well,
about?
the necklace is to gear everybody up for the wonderful holiday season, specifically the Christmas tree market, the Christmas market at the Mound House on December 14th from 10 to 3. And
That
the
is
Fort
in
Myers,
conjunction
Yes.
with the Fort Myers Beach Women's Club, which is having a Christmas event, the Christmas Tree
I
Festival.
can't believe we're talking about Christmas already.
I
It's
know,
so
but you know
crazy.
what? It is November,
Yeah.
and
it
we
is.
are having our winter weather change as
It's
of
very
this
nice
morning.
outside. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what have you guys been up to?
Well,
what's your day like? Tell us
what's
what your
my
day's
day
like.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, Gail was helping at the Mound House
Yes.
yesterday.
with a school group from a Christian academy.
Right.
And it is so rewarding to have these kids come in and understand the importance of archaeology and studying ancient peoples like the Calusa Indians.
And
Right.
they do hands-on projects. In fact, as we were walking here, I had helped with the school group last week, and we had fourth graders, and we teach them to do things with their hands. And it's becoming clear to me, kids aren't used to doing small motor things with their hands.
Aren't they on their phones all day though?
Well, they are on their phones, but the skill set of learning how to make cordage
Twist.
is very different than pushing
Wow.
buttons on your phone.
Crazy.
So yeah, it's a good remedial activity for kids to get them
For
used to
sure.
doing things with their fingers.
They have to leave their phones behind when they come out, so they're not allowed to.
Oh, when
jump
they're,
on?
yeah, they cannot, none of the school groups, the parents and the chaperones do not allow
Nice.
the phones present.
The kids have to be going crazy.
Well, I tell you, they're so enthralled by our staff, Dexter Norris and Katie Beth
Right.
Culp at the Mound House yesterday. They engage these school kids, some of whom have never been exposed to an archaeological site
Mhm.
and have never been exposed to the Mound House itself right here on beautiful Estero Bay. They just pull them in and teach them so many things, and the kids teach us so many things because they're totally prepped for these field trips.
And the grounds are so beautiful, and the
Right.
kids are really struck by all of that. So it's pretty cool. Which back to the Christmas market.
Yes,
So Gail is in charge of the Christmas market.
I am.
And she's going to have all of these vendors come with, and each one will be unique. She's being very careful to curate it so that there aren't two of anything.
Correct.
So
And-
wait, so the Christmas market is when?
Is December 14th
Where?
at the Mound House
Gotcha.
from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m.
And you have all your vendors set up, or are you still
I
taking
have
them?
all my vendors. I can sneak a couple more vendors in
Okay.
with unique products.
Tell us some of the products that people can.
Some of the products are organic soaps that we have already
Mm.
and various organic body lotions.
I love the organic soaps. Makes my skin sparkle.
I can tell that you're a big fan.
Thank you. Oh,
And you have a beer truck coming, right?
Momentum Brewery is coming.
And a coffee truck to
The
balance that
coffee
out.
truck is Beach Baptist.
very nice.
Beach Baptist has its all small little coffee truck, and they have an excellent coffee called Christian Crack Coffee, which sometimes Pastor does not want us to mention, but I'm going to do it today because if you have a Christian Crack Coffee, you are addicted to it.
And I'm not going to be here for this 'cause I'm gone. But
How dare you?
How dare me is right. However, in order to do my penance, I run around and try to find a few additional vendors for Gail.
Yes.
And I found a really cool one.
Yeah.
And it's a husband and wife, and they do personalized signage for different kinds of
Yes.
locales. And they're going to do personalized signage with the longitude and latitude for the Mound House and for
Oh.
Fort Myers Beach, and specialized signage. it's really tasteful and cool and beachy and all of the above.
How much does an organic bar of soap cost?
Janine's are generally $9 to $14, depending on the ingredients that she has in her soaps and the size of the slab.
And if I take 2 showers a day on average, how long will an organic bar of soap last?
I would say 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Because it's all natural organic products, and you're really working that lather up. They lather very, very
The
well.
lather. You know, Kim had a rash last week. You think that would help her? Organic soap?
I don't know. Even though I'm a retired nurse and
I was just gonna say,
anesthetist,
she comes from the
I'm
medical
very
field.
careful to answer.
Yes,
Careful to
she
answer
won't
that
make
question.
prognostications.
Correct.
She's very careful in her choice of words.
Oh, that was a good answer.
But we're really, really excited,
Why don't your bulbs
especially
light
the
up?
vendors.
How come your bulbs don't light up?
Because they don't have them turned on.
Oh, turn them on. Let's see these.
So some of the other vendors you've got coming,
I
Gail.
don't mean to
Some of the
sidetrack
other
you, Gail.
vendors are, excuse me, I'm drawing a blank
Okay,
here.
so let me fill in and I'll talk about the Molly stuff. And so,
Yes.
because we have
So-
some unique things, because the reason I'm not going to be there is I travel. I'm gone the month of December, visiting my daughter who lives in Mali, which is in West Africa.
Wow.
And a few years ago, we started having products made by artisans in Mali. And so we bring those all back, and we have a whole table of products that just come from Mali.
Wow.
So we have leather boxes that are made from camel leather, which are made in Timbuktu, which is northern Mali, and vendors.
That's really a place?
It
Timbuktu?
is.
I thought it was just a saying.
No.
No.
Timbuktu is an ancient
real.
city. In fact, it was the home of the first university. It was founded in the year 3000 BC, or maybe it was AD.
Look at you, you history buff, you.
But whatever.
Is West Africa safe?
It depends. In fact, Timbuktu is not particularly safe. So these traders that have the boxes made in Timbuktu, then they cart them through the Sahara Desert. They bring them to Bamako, which is the capital of Mali, and they now know where my daughter lives. So they come and they deliver these boxes to her house, and then we bring them over here and we sell them at the Mound House Christmas Market.
We do. And here are some bracelets.
Very nice.
Those are
That we're also going to be selling this year, but they've been so popular that we have a very limited amount of these bracelets from Mali.
Nice
Actually-
selling point there. I love that.
But we buy these in Mali, but they're actually made in Kenya, which I discovered because I bought them in Mali, and then
So those are real African bracelets.
yes,
Nice.
yes, made
What
by
is-
real African artisans.
Now, what is a bracelet, if you don't mind me asking? What would someone pay for that at your Christmas?
$5.
Okay, well,
so
that's a long way to go for $5. I
Okay.
think it would be more than that.
So we actually this year we asked Anita Saracita to help us price things.
Who's she?
Anita Saracita is the mayor of Fort Myers
okay. I
Beach,
think I've heard of her.
and she is also a local retailer.
Yes,
has
she is. She has
three
two
unique-
stores right here.
Mhm.
Right,
Two
but two
stores
here.
here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and one in Santini Plaza.
Nice.
And each of them is merchandised separately depending on the clientele.
And she
and what they want.
sells gifts from Africa.
Well, no, she does not, but she helped us price them because I have no big background in retail at all, nor does Gail. Gail was in medicine, I was in technology. So, how do you price things? So when I talked to Anita, she said, well, you have to factor in what your costs are. I say, well, there are no costs in this because my husband and I, we underwrite this. So everything, all the proceeds go to the people that make it, and then they go to the Mound House. So
Okay.
you don't have to mark stuff up and have it make money for the Mound House or to make money for them because we're underwriting that part.
Nice.
So we can sell these bracelets for $5 because if you went through the whole import process, you'd probably have to start out at 20.
Right.
And
So,
and we have other products that we have a lot of textile things. And again, we cut, there's like there's no margin in it at all. It's just pure profit for the people that made it and the people that are buying it.
how are you guys so happy all the time? What is it? You take a happy pill every morning, or what the hell?
No.
I mean, what is going
Yes,
on with you
because
two?
it's so exciting, especially
Why is
the
so
Mound
exciting?
House.
Why?
The
It's
Mound
every day
House
of your
is
life. You're
so
so happy.
exciting.
How do
Pretty
you do
much.
it? How do you do it?
Pretty much.
What's the secret to happiness?
I think it's feeling like we're doing something important.
And it's
You know,
not
we
for you. You're doing
Fell
it for
into the
somebody
Mound
else.
House. Yes, we're doing it for the Mound House.
Mhm.
So, when we talk about these school groups and we talk about the programs, not every child or school group can afford to come to the Mound House to have their own tailored program. So Christmas Market benefits our programming at the Mound House. Each of our vendors pay a fee, and that goes back to our programming at the Mound House. So children can afford to come in, for instance, for our summer camp or our school groups. We can also defray the cost on that because the school groups do have to pay to come in for our programming. But it makes it so rewarding that this is an archaeological treasure here on our beautiful island of Fort Myers Beach, and we're on the National Historic Register.
Very nice.
That is a huge thing. And Allison Geeson has worked very hard to do that.
That's the second time her name's come up today.
Yeah.
She's from the Bay Oaks Community Center.
Is.
Yeah.
And-
So
and-
what are you
and-
doing there, dear?
oh,
She's
thank
passing
you
out
very
flowers
much.
to everybody.
Oh,
Don't pass me a flower. I'm not wearing a flower. Stop. I'm not wearing a flower.
so Allison, getting on the National Register is a huge deal. So Seal Spuler, who was part of the group that helped save the Mound House from development by into condominiums.
There'd be a big hotel there or something
Exactly.
now, right?
It's going to be 17 condominiums. So now we
Wow.
have the Mound House instead. So she started the push to get us on the National Register. And she said it was a civilian not knowing the rules of the road. And it took Allison's expertise on how to do all of the writings in just the right way so that it was successful. And we got the word last spring. Oh, I love this story. So when Allison got the email that we were on the National Register, Seal was working on the property that day as a docent. And I hung around the office until Seal was finishing so I could watch Allison tell Seal. Seal levitated off the floor. She was so
Oh, cool.
thrilled that
Very
it
nice.
finally happened because it was almost 20 years in the making.
Is there a video of that rolling around
I-
somewhere? Because that would be cool.
Oh,
I think
My bad. I
is.
should have
Aw.
done that. Well, maybe I can get a recreation.
Yeah.
So
a
did we,
reenactment.
did
But getting
Go
back
ahead.
to the Mound House
Yes.
too, and this is why I handpick. Ellen said that I do vet these vendors. I do. I want to pick vendors, and some of them appear at our local farmers markets at Beach Baptist and Santini Market. A lot of them don't have time to walk down Connecticut and come to the Mound House. So last year when I had the vendors, the majority of my vendors last year had never been to the Mound House property.
Oh.
And it was incredible because not only are we having this great Christmas market with Doghouse, Momentum Brewery, Beach Baptist,
got some new
St.
people.
Nick. St. Nick is appearing, Chapel by the Sea, Bell Ringing Choir, Calusa Carvers, who take our strangler fig, our ancient warrior tree, and carve beautiful items out of them, especially the comfort birds. We have people coming to the Mound House with a free admission that day that have never seen the Mound House. Besides our vendors, people have never been there. And when they come there, that's what makes us smile too.
Mhm.
It is a place of peace, Ed. It is.
I need some peace in my life.
It
I'm
is.
just kidding.
It's just like
All
a
I do is
little
nap all
slice
day.
of heaven.
Yeah. So did you get everything out about that day that you wanted to, or
Yes.
let it rip if
Well,
you
Christmas
didn't?
market.
Well, let me just add in because this is tied into the women's club on Fort
Absolutely,
Myers
to the
Beach
women's
Right,
club.
right.
is having a Christmas tree festival, which is the 13th and the 14th. It's, oh my God, that's an inherent conflict. No, it's not. It's a planned intervention of each other because the Fort Myers Beach Women's Club Christmas Tree Festival starts on the afternoon of the 13th, which is on a Friday.
Mhm.
And Mary Torgensen is leading that effort and doing a phenomenal job. She's got quite
Is that the
behind
chili
her.
festival day too?
Yeah, the
we're
chili
in that
tasting is
again.
going to be Saturday.
Yeah.
we're
Yes,
in that
you guys
again.
are.
And so
Our
then
chili
this-
sucked last year, so we have to up the game.
okay, and I'm sure
I
you
was in
will.
last place.
Well, there's only up to go.
That's right.
That's right.
Get on it, Sue.
That's the good
My
point.
sister.
Okay, but let me just say, so the Christmas Tree Festival is on Friday afternoon on the 13th, and then on Saturday their event programming doesn't start until 4:00, and the hours for the Christmas market at the Mound House
Are 10 to 3.
There you
So
go.
this
Got
is
an
a
hour to get over
perfect
there.
coordination
Yes.
via the Women's Club and the
course.
Alliance for Nonprofit Organizations, and Bev Milligan, the president of the Fort Myers Beach Women's Club, to bring all the nonprofits together. And I'm telling you, last year was such a success
Cool.
with the Mound House and the Women's Club working together on a whole weekend of festivities.
So this alliance that Gail mentioned about almost 2 years ago, we put together a meeting of all the not-for-profits on the beach
Mhm.
just to discuss how do we not step on each other's toes and schedule against each other. So that group in one meeting said, okay, we're going to form ourselves into the Alliance of Not-for-Profits.
Look at that.
And it's under the auspices of the
So
Women's
worked.
Club, because that's the place where you go and have meetings. So Beverly chairs the meetings. But there are somewhere between 13 and it might even be closer to 20 different organizations that are part of this alliance. And we have a group calendar.
You know, women are
Jan
so
Fleming
good at
makes.
organizing things. It's we need more women in public office, like national public office, to straighten things out. That's what I think. It's just gotten crazy, but you guys seem to have things under control here anyway.
Well, I think the beauty of it is we all work together.
Yes.
We all work together because we have the common goal of everybody succeeding, the nonprofits and our island home here.
Right.
Working
We're all in
together,
this
we can do
together.
a lot more.
Right.
Yep.
And I like that you assign the men to do the parking. Like you guys go out in the parking lot.
No,
and
there's
take care of the
female parkers
parking.
this year too.
Oh, okay. Spreading out the wealth there.
And this is a good time to get in the fact that the Women's Club may be called the Woman's Club, but there are men members.
Well,
There
that's
are
not
men
right.
members.
Well,
Yep.
that's not really a woman's club then.
Well, and actually, that's
Ooh.
up for debate as to whether or not it needs a renaming
No.
opportunity.
How many men are in the women's club?
I think it's two, maybe?
Two now.
Who are they? Is it a secret?
It might be. So I don't
Oh.
want to say right now.
All right. So did you get everything across? I want to make sure that I
Yes,
don't miss
and
anything. You
Anita
got the lights
Saracita.
going.
This
Okay.
is the shirt that she made.
Anita made a shirt herself.
Anita
Look
made
at that.
a shirt.
It's got the
from
12
her
days of
store.
Christmas on
12
it.
Days of Christmas Island style.
Is that
from Fort
everything?
Myers Beach.
Is that everything you should buy
And
from
she
her store?
brought it back. No, she brought it back
Oh.
specifically for the Christmas market last year,
And-
because this is a design from the 1990s.
Wow.
When she first opened
Oh,
Local
cool.
Color here.
Very nice.
She's
and-
also a vendor at the
Yeah, I
Christmas
was going to
market
say yes.
because she's a
Of
big
course.
supporter.
Yeah.
Oh, is she a big supporter? Yes.
Awesome.
Yes,
Well, you
yes.
guys are always so much fun. I hope we get to do the Taste of the Beach again this year. That's what it was called, right?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
In
over
May.
there. It was so hot, though, wasn't it?
Oh my God,
But
it was
that's
hot that
okay.
We
day.
were
Hot-
baking out there, but
Hot
we had
is
fun.
good. Hot is good.
You guys took some great and fun pictures for us out there and did a great job filling in for the wife. So I'm sure she'll be on vacation again out in some Grand Canyon or something like that. So, well,
Hopefully she will.
December 13th and 14th.
December 13th and 14th. December 13th, the Women's Club, and December 14th, the Women's Club and Fort Myers Beach Mound House Christmas Market, 10 to 3.
10 to 3 for the Christmas market, and 4 o'clock begins the festivities at the Women's Club.
All right. Well, thank you
Yes.
guys for coming
Well,
down.
thanks
We
for
really
the
appreciate
opportunity.
it. Anytime.
Thanks.
We always love having you back. You guys should really have your own show. You don't need me sitting here. You're so
Maybe we
upbeat and
do.
positive and happy all the time. And we need more happy in the world. Dang it.
Well, we're doing our part.
Thank you so much to Gail and
Gail.
to
And
Ellen.
let me say, they are both so doggone stylish.
For sure.
Telling
Thank you
ya.
guys for coming. And before we get to Leah, I want to make sure you all know that we have the Fort Myers Tiki Tours coming in mid-November, and that is very, very soon. That's when you get to go out on the party boat. I think I might have read it a little goofy last week because I was all by myself without you flanking me and protecting me and making sure I read it right. But they have 90-minute tiki rides for up to 6 guests per boat, and they have 2 boats for parties of 12. See, that's where
Wow.
I got confused. They have 90-minute tiki rides for up to 6 guests per boat, and they have 2 boats for parties of 12. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And the cost will be $39.99 plus Florida sales tax per person. Sunsets will be just a little bit higher because you know what? You get to see the sun setting, and that's pretty cool. $44.99 for that. They're coming up in mid-November. They have 2 boats here. You can check them out now at FortMyersTikiTours.com. Of course, that's FortMyersTikiTours.com, 239-887-0042. If you want to try and make your reservations early because you know they're going to be sold out, that's kind of a fun thing.
So are you done with that?
Yes,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
done with the
Did
paying
you
the
like your
bills.
flower?
I-
I didn't realize the camera goes all the way over to your bag. So while I was rifling through your
Yeah,
bag to get to
stealing
your
my money.
wallet to steal your money, I realized I was on camera. So there you go. But yes, I went over, purchased some poppies. Don is down here. He's a veteran. And he's selling poppies for a donation. And 100% of what he sells goes to help veterans. And I asked him to come on, but he's way too, not shy, but he's just such a sweet guy. And he said, no, you just do it. So
And how much are they? $1?
it's just a donation. I
Okay.
just gave him money and he
How
gey
much
me
of
poppies.
money did you give them for 4 poppies? They
Does
look
it matter?
They look like flowers. They're called poppies.
Poppy is a flower.
I don't know. I think it's something else when I hear poppy.
Goodness.
I didn't know poppy was a flower. I wonder how many people out there knew poppy was a flower.
You don't know what poppies are? No. Okay.
I didn't know poppy was a flower.
Have you
Well, that's why
seen-
Lalo sent me a text during
Have
the
you
week
seen The Wizard of Oz?
about 1,000 years ago.
Okay.
We
She
don't have
was in the
cable
poppy
anymore.
field.
She was in the
Oh,
poppy
Lord.
field. What?
That's
Who
where
was?
she fell asleep.
Oh, please!
Oh, my
You're making that
goodness.
up.
Ugh. I
So,
can't.
John
Folks, I can't with
Lalo
him.
sends me a text that says somebody's selling poppies, and I'm like, I'm
Yes.
not putting that out over the air. That
No,
doesn't sound
he-
legal.
He poppies, not never mind. Yes, he's been in contact. He knows John, and I invited him back down tomorrow, but I think he was planning on coming anyways.
Oh, cool.
And so Don,
So
please
Don-
come down
Don
and
the puppy man is here selling puppies.
Now I sound like
super
Popeye.
nice guy.
So tomorrow, folks,
You're weird.
if you haven't heard, we're doing a show tomorrow, and this will be the last time I say it today. At o'clock for the veterans that we have, they're all local veterans, 2 females, 3 guys, and they're going to be here tomorrow at 9 o'clock, having breakfast here at Pete's Timeout. And we want you to help us pay for the breakfast. You'll notice pinned to the top of our Facebook page is the promotion for the show. You can donate $5 or $6 or $7, whatever you like, by PayPal or by Venmo, and all that money will be thrown into the entire bill plus tip, and none of it will be kept by Kim because, she likes to keep things like that. So
now that's unfair.
did you know that organic soap will cure your rash?
There you
need
go.
to ask the ladies about that. It'll last.
Organic
Yes.
soap.
And on average, if you take 2 showers a day and you bought one $9 bar of organic soap, it'll last about 2 weeks. Bet you didn't know that.
2 showers a day.
Well, when you work out,
That's going to dry your skin out. I
No.
mean, unless you're really stinky.
well, sometimes you
You
need to take
need 2 showers a day. You
Right.
are. You are like a shower king.
Well, there's something that I'm opposed to body funk. I don't want to be the guy where everybody's sniffing around.
Well,
you have
next
body funk.
weekend, you're going to get real used to body funk,
So-
my friend.
Speaking of shows, there will be no show next Saturday, not from here. The show will be whatever we can feed you from Atlanta, Georgia for our 24-hour World's Toughest Mudder, which is a 5-mile obstacle course race, as many miles you can get. It's the last time I'm going to try and get 50 miles. And so there are going to be some ugly pictures.
And
Here-
25 years.
25 years of racing. Oh, no, our anniversary is coming up, too. That's right, 25 years. I'll buy you some puppies. And how many puppies do you want?
Hey,
All right, so our last guest of the day is Leah
Maybe.
Gray. You see, you can never, Leah, once she gets a conversation going, it's hard to
I'm going to
stop
put her in the middle.
Right, Leah's going to jump in the middle here. Leah wanted to come on because last week, I think it was
Pop in
last
there.
week, or anyway,
Middle.
within the last 2 weeks, the town has been talking about lighting on Estero Boulevard, which, as everybody that lives on the beach knows, is absolutely horrible. The lighting on Estero Boulevard is bad, especially at night when it's dark. It's really bad.
How do you know? You don't even go out at night.
I've been on the beach twice when
Let
it's
her
dark out
speak
and
to
it's
it.
dark. It's hard to figure out where to cross. And then, the cars can't see people and things like that. So they did a lighting study. And Leah, you were on top of this. You were all over it. So how do you want to start this off?
Well, Ed, thank you so much, first off, for all that you do. And thanks for having me on the show. I know I
You're
reached
very
out to
welcome.
you yesterday and said, hey, can I come in and talk about this lighting study and analysis? And Kim, you too. You guys are so funny. Love to watch you in the
Well,
morning.
I'm the funny one, but thank
You're
you.
both
Go ahead.
Good team. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of share really myself and even Ellen and Gail. We're all part of what's called Five Decide. And we established this group several years ago, frankly, because we wanted to shed some light on what was known as TPI FMB, now known as Margaritaville. And we wanted to really reinforce and share the message with our town council members that we supported it. And we wanted to really express that. So that's how Five Decide was really started. And our goal really is to bring important issues forward to our town council members and really collaborate with them to really make Fort Myers Beach the best, safest, cleanest place that we could possibly be for not only humans, but our wildlife that lives in it. And if you think about it, our 5 key decision makers, our council members, I mean, they make some very important decisions that
Yeah.
are long lasting, that really affect the island and affect the wildlife and the folks and everyone else that lives in it. And overall, they do a great job, especially from an environmental perspective. I mean, they cut back the plastic straws. They stopped the if you remember those, I think they were known as Chinese fire lanterns that we used to see in the air all the time. Those are no longer allowed. So they're doing a great job. We just wanted to talk about the lighting study because basically I'll share with you guys a few facts. Okay, so the lighting study facts are: first, it was conducted by the Metropolitan Planning Organization. It's been in the works for the past 5 years.
Took 5 years to do a lighting study.
I don't know if it took 5 years or they requested it 5 years ago and it just
It'll
took
take
time.
5 minutes to drive down that road. It's
Well,
dark.
and here's what's interesting. So the consulting firm's objective after they saw the study was to analyze inconsistent light and temperature levels in the streetlights along the 6-7 mile corridor along Estero Boulevard. And their goal was to make low-cost recommendation that would assist with bike and pedestrian safety along the corridor by only standardizing the light levels and variants. So, and then their goal was to make a low-cost recommendation. So there really wasn't anything looked at or anything analyzed or no recommendations made on amber lighting, which is a safer alternative, not only for humans, but for the turtles.
Talk
and
about
wildlife.
that. There was a lot of discussion about lights being safer for humans. And I was like, I'm just an average, I'm not very smart.
Well,
I mean, I don't ever feel like a light's going to kill me.
Well, here's the deal. So, when I watched this meeting, it intrigued me. So I started doing some research because there wasn't a lot of data that was provided during the meeting other than we just looked at the variance in light levels because that's important. If you have a light area and a dark area, it could play games with your eyes.
Sure.
So it is
You
important
want it to be
that we have
consistent.
consistent light levels.
Right.
But there was no discussion really as far as what are the effects of that. And was there any analysis done on alternatives other than just what's known as white, bright LED lights, and their levels are based on what's called kelvins, which is it really measures the hue, the color, the blueness in the light. So when you look at a high level LED light, it looks white, but in reality, it has these blue rays, and it's the blue rays, according to really two good sources, the American Medical Association and the U.S. Department of Energy. Both claim that if at 3,000, which is recommended, kelvins or up, it could cause damage to the retina.
Oh, come on.
It could cause. This is what they're claiming.
I've never
And
read a
it's-
story in my life where somebody died from the light.
I didn't say die. I said it could cause damage to the eye. And if you look into a high level LED light, look into one of these car lights, you'll see that it can hurt the eye.
Oh, yeah.
But again, this
Some
is
of
from
those
the American.
lights
This
on the
isn't me
cars
saying this,
should
Ed.
be
This
illegal.
is the AMA and the
So
U.S.
let's get
Department
right
of
down
Energy.
to it, Leah. What we're talking about is protecting the turtles. We're not talking about protecting the humans. It's the lights that have to be the right lights for the turtles.
That's not true. If you really take a look at the research, and I would encourage you to do so. In fact, I sent you an email.
I
with
like
a
it
link.
to keep it basic, though. But really, what they're talking about is the turtles, right? They're not really considering
Turtle
lights.
time was there, and
Right.
and they were concerned about the lights for the turtles, and we all know that amber lighting is better for the turtles, and I agree with that. But again, when I did research, I was shocked because, like you, I didn't think there was any difference as far as the retina. But they also continue to say if you have these bright white lights down the corridor, it can literally affect with sleepiness or sleeping. People can have an adverse effect to it. So the study goes on to say there's many different detrimental effects to humans, and mainly the eye. So again, if that's the case, why not do a little bit more analysis and compare different alternatives? And that wasn't done. So again, they looked at the lighting variance and the consistency just along the corridor, and they looked at the bright white LED lights only because the objective of the consulting firm was to provide a low cost alternative to what we have. So I know Joanne and Rexanne were very concerned. In fact, they said the study doesn't do us any good at all, or the analysis, I should say. We don't know for sure if the crosswalks, if that was looked at in the study, but we do know that the crosswalks was not part of the recommendation or part of the analysis.
When they did the study about the lights and the humans, did they just sit humans in a room with those lights on and had them looking at the lights and looking away and looking at?
Possibly, you could do.
I mean,
you'd
honestly,
be surprised how many research studies. I've spent 20 years in the pharma space, and they do all kind of crazy
But I watched
things.
that meeting and I thought, okay, I think they're drawing in the human aspect of it because they want the right lights for the turtle. So why can't they just figure out what the light is for the turtle and put the damn lights up?
Well, they know what it is, and I think that's the other issue. Is now they're going back to the table because, fortunately, four. There was Anita wasn't there, so there was 4 folks there. Bruce was all for going forward with the lighting. Joanne and Rexanne were a little concerned because of the crosswalks. So you got the color of the light is one thing, but then you have the crosswalks.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do a lighting plan for a whole town based on safety, you should look at areas like crosswalks, which every single town council member stated those are the most
It's very
dangerous
confusing.
areas
It's very
in the
confusing.
whole
Like,
area.
I don't know that people like visitors to the beach know where to cross. It's not really their fault when they're crossing the street. I don't really
I
think
agree.
they know where to cross because, I mean, when you're walking down the straight part, let's just take the part right here in the corner here, which is confusing enough because of the swerve there. But when you're walking down the street and you want to cross over to go, let's say to Leaky Tiki or Shamrock or whatever, wherever you're going, you don't really know where to cross, and you really shouldn't just dart out into the street. So how are
I
they going to
agree.
fix that?
Well, and I also think that it's detrimental for the drivers because, I live right by a crosswalk, right by the 7-Eleven. And when I go up there with my nephews, I continuously tell them, do not run out because people don't stop.
So
many
where are
cases.
you supposed to cross
However,
now?
But listen, I think the concern is, to your point, people don't really know a lot of people don't know where
Right.
crosswalks are, and they don't know that they should cross in the crosswalk. Sometimes they're 10 feet away from the crosswalk crossing the street. But you also have to ask, do the drivers really understand what the crosswalks are? They're yellow, they're not blinking. It doesn't really say stop. So there's a lot of confusion around that.
I think they should just ban cars
Well-
on this side of the bridge. Just make them all park on the other side of the bridge. And
Like
it'll be,
Captiva Island, little golf
yeah,
carts.
they'll just be,
But
give them all.
but here's another thing that was interesting. When you take a look at the crosswalks again, why not look at the whole environment and put together a plan? And I think the concern was that crosswalks were not looked at all. The only thing was the corridor, 6-7 mile corridor right down the beach, and the street lights. So there was no crosswalk analysis or recommendation, and there was no different options with lighting, amber lighting. And again, Turtle Time was there. They all had their yellow shirts on. So I think it's important that we care about our environment. But I also thought, which again was surprising to me, that we need to look at the human aspect of it too. Yes, we want safety, and I don't think it takes a genius to figure out bright 3,000 Kelvin lights along our street lights is going to create more light. So of course it's going to make it
Hell,
safer
be
for
safe.
bikes.
Now-
However, you got to ask about the glare, which again, the AMA and the U.S. Department of Energy talked about the glare, that it actually makes situations worse with that bright glare.
Now, I don't know, you guys might have covered it, but in other places I've been, like Marco, wherever, they have those light up as you're driving.
Yes.
The crosswalks light up.
Yes, they
And
do.
I believe, and the stop signs do too. And it's amber lighting that
What a
is
great
in
idea.
those. Yeah.
Is that in the study?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because Rexanne and Joanne both made that point. And David, who
Good on
was-
them.
Well, David, who was with the consulting firm, he actually stated that Pinellas County and Manatee County, they did some research on those areas,
Mhm.
and both of those areas have those flashing lights. And he said that it enhances safety greatly.
Oh, yeah. You
and then my
can't
first
miss
question
those.
was, well, then why didn't they look at it in Fort Myers Beach and make any
Yeah,
recommendations? So
yeah.
I
you
think
can't miss
I
that.
think there was just a disconnect. I think that
You're welcome.
The study parameters perhaps were in place, and maybe they did look at the crosswalks and the amber lighting. However, the analysis conducted by the engineering consulting firm, that wasn't part of it. And he
Right.
said that numerous times in the meeting.
So I think part of the issue too is this is a county road, and the county's going to do whatever they want, right? It's a county road. I mean, I think the town's going to have input, but the county can do whatever they want. Or are the sidewalks the city's, the town's road, and the sidewalks are where you're going to have to put the lights? Are they trying to work together? I also heard that there might not be enough light poles, or there's old light poles. It got confusing to the point where
Well, what they said was, so again, since the higher bright lights are brighter, you need more of the lower Kelvin lights, like the amber lights. And in some cases, it might be 2 to 1. So that's where
Okay.
the cost comes in as far as,
Right.
okay, well, and then Roger.
can you really put a cost on safety though, Leah?
Well,
I mean,
you look at
really
cost and you
shouldn't.
look at price, and frankly, what's the cost? It's kind of like you have the opportunity cost, right? I mean, here's what's going to cost us, but what are we giving up? So, and also you have to keep in mind, I mean, the mill tax was raised not too long ago.
Yes, I know that.
And if you watch that meeting,
I
you'll
did.
see that I believe there was an outside agency that provides guidelines for towns as far as how much they need to have in reserves based on their budget.
Yeah.
And that number is 17%. We have 30%. We have
Yeah.
6.3 million in
Give
reserves.
some of that money back to the people.
Well, put it back in. If you're concerned about costs, put an investment in the island and put in the right lighting, but yet look at the whole island and do the whole thing once and do it right.
Can they do something like a dimmer, like they have them really bright when it's not turtle season, and they dim them when it is turtle
They
season?
can.
'Cause
Those are available as well.
look
Yes,
at
they
that.
are.
See, I just solved the
In fact,
problem.
There you
somebody
go.
mentioned there was a light. I think it's in Fort Lauderdale. I think Ray mentioned that they can actually be turned on and off. But everybody stated that they don't want to mess around with turning lights on and off. They don't really want to mess with the different, make it lighter and darker. Because
Roger
again,
doesn't
it's
want to
kinda
come back
the
later
older
on in the day and do it.
Well, or put a filter over during the season, an amber filter over the white light. I mean,
well, the point is, and I think we're
that'll
talking
work.
about some of them here, there's a lot of different alternatives, right? There's a lot of safer alternatives for the environment as a whole, whether it be humans or whether it be wildlife. And the bottom line is they weren't looked at. Again, the study looked at streetlights on the corridor.
So
only.
where are we at now, Leah? Where are we at now?
Well, where we are now is council gave direction to Roger to look at the cost. He did not get direction to look at any analysis at all regarding the crosswalks, but they're looking at the cost. And everybody, including Ray, was very, very specific in stating that lighting safety at the crosswalks is imperative. And they were all shocked that crosswalks was left out of the study, or the analysis, I should say, and the recommendation.
Did they
So-
give him enough
so they're-
direction? Because he needs really
They
specific
basically
direction.
said, go forward and get us some cost
Okay,
analysis.
hopefully that's
Which,
enough
quite frankly, you
directions
could
for
get
him.
free at FPL, because it was also mentioned that FPL has amber lighting. So I'm not really sure we got the best bang for the buck. I don't think we
to be
paid
honest with
for
you,
it.
I don't even know what amber lighting is. What is an amber light?
Well, an amber light is kind
Amber
of
is the color.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, what's is it different than a bright light? Is that what
Yes,
they're saying? An amber
yes.
light's not as bright.
yes,
So-
it's not as
Does
bright.
it cost less? It costs more to bright.
So here's
to
what
It
it says.
probably costs
Here's what it
more,
says.
but
Bright-
it's safety.
Yeah, it says bright white lights.
Did you
Here's
know-
what it says. Bright
You
white
missed
lights.
the earlier section. Lights kill people, she said.
I did
No,
not
she
say
told
that. See how rumors get started.
Bad lighting,
here's-
Ken.
Here's what it states: bright white LED lights, which is what's recommended, have 5 times the greater impact on sleep rhythms, on different. That's what the study
know.
Well,
says.
you know
I
what?
know.
When you're
I know.
driving
It's
and
the
you
study.
see those
much
headlights,
did that
those
study
LED
cost?
headlights on some of those fancy cars, it's
Okay,
not
well,
good.
that's
It's too
different though,
much.
because it's coming right at you. You think the car is
I
going to run you
know,
over?
dear, but I'm
if you-
just
listen,
saying.
if you read the analysis from the
I
AMA
agree with that.
and the Department of Education, what it does is it reflects, right? So it bounces off the ground and it reflects,
I don't
and
know,
it
those-
causes this glare. Well, you know what? The point of the matter is, none of this was discussed during the meeting. So I just don't. I've got so much information in an
Yeah.
8-minute Google
Yes.
search. It
We
was
need to do a
ridiculous.
lighting. We need to have a lighting meeting, just a light meeting.
Well,
So
maybe
what-
a better discussion on perhaps the options. Again,
what are the
goal was-
options? When are
well,
we
the
going to have
goal-
lights? That's all people care about is when are the lights going up? That's what they want to know.
Who says that?
That's all people. They want lights.
They want effective lights,
right,
though.
and they don't want to kill turtles. That's all they care about.
And
Let's
they don't
get the
want to
lights
have.
up.
They don't want to have. They don't want to have.
And-
But again, you got to keep in mind that these studies, and I'm not talking about the study that was done here. I'm talking about the American Medical Association and the U.S. Department of Energy. They're published. They state that bright lights going in street lights.
I'm getting tired
could be
already just
detrimental.
thinking about the lights. I know they're dangerous to me.
So here's the question. Here's the action. Here's what we need people to do. Learn a little bit about more what's going on. We posted some good information on 5 Decide. There's a link to the American Medical Association, the U.S. Department of Energy, all of their information. And there's numerous resources that talks about different light levels. And I would encourage you,
Yes.
if you care, to reach out to the town council members. I know Joanne said, thank you so much for sending us all this information. They're very busy. They have a lot on their plate. Quite frankly, I'm sure in some cases it's a thankless job. And they need all the assistance that they can get to really help collaborate with the folks that live here to do the best thing for the beach.
They do get paid $18,000
Well,
a year. Did you know that?
Thank you very much
Well,
for that.
actually, the mayor gets paid $19,600, I believe.
Oh, look
And the
at
council
that.
members, I think, are like $16,800
I
plus
thought I saw
benefits.
18. But anyway, so who do you think is going to win the election next year, Leah?
Who do I think is going to win the election? Who's
Yeah.
all running now?
Well, we
Did
know Dan
confirm
is in.
that?
Dan's officially in.
Well, you got 3 slots. So far, you
I
know,
think Jim Matterholt's probably going to run. And
Yeah.
if we keep harassing Megan Heil, maybe we can convince
No,
her
this
to
is
run.
not a we thing. This is
Well,
a
see,
you
here's the
thing.
thing.
And we're
and this
starting a
is-
writing campaign for Kim.
Well, here's the thing, and this is where I respect Bruce's decision, for backing out, because it's a lot of work. And
Well,
if
he
you-
didn't
and if-
back out. He
well,
just decided not.
well,
His
he's
term
basically
expired. You're
backing
making him
out
sound like he's a
of,
quitter. He's
no,
not
no,
a
no.
quitter.
but he's not rerunning.
I think you know what
He's not
happened. The
running for
lights,
election.
got to him. They
Nah,
just
this
he
is before that.
couldn't stay
But
awake
my
anymore.
point is, I think it's good that folks, when they decide, hey, enough is enough, because again, it
Yeah.
is somewhat of a thankless job. It's
Right.
not like you're getting to be a millionaire doing this job, and it
I
takes a
wouldn't
lot of
do it.
time. I
It's
wouldn't do it because I can't
way-
commit now. I would love to do it in the future and serve our town. But I can understand if Megan Hale, she's got a lot going on. They have a couple businesses, they
Yeah.
travel.
Heil.
So we can't really ask her to do it if she's not willing to commit 100%.
She's willing.
Because
She's
that's
just
not fair to her.
she doesn't know it yet. She's willing. Yeah, she'd be
Well,
great.
she'd be great.
It
Hey,
was so
Dan
funny.
would be great, you know, and
I was
the
watching one of the
Jim, was that
meetings.
the other gentleman?
Jim Matterholt,
Yeah,
yeah.
I read
I
about
was-
him. He's awesome.
I was watching one of the meetings, and Megan was sitting at the table at one of the meetings. It was a committee meeting, and there, you know, you were all sitting there. And I was texting her. I said, "Oh, you sure look great at the head of the table like that." You could just see her laughing.
Leave her alone.
All right, Leah.
So
Thanks.
that's it. Hey, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Hey, I
Well,
wanted to
stay-
give you this
come on,
too.
anytime
You
you
know,
want.
I
Is
went
that a
to.
study? I don't want to read a study.
No, this is actually cool. I went to the. I don't know if anybody went to the boat or the boat show,
The air show.
air show.
Last weekend in
Punta
Punta Gorda.
Gorda?
Yeah,
See that's the little
Wow.
little program there.
very nice.
But they had the Thunderbirds.
yeah, those
Amazing.
Are cool. Yeah.
I mean, it's just an amazing experience
Do you
to
work
see
for
those
them?
guys. No, I don't. I went
Oh,
up there
okay.
just to see. But
All right.
you know, the Thunderbirds, quite frankly, there's 6 of them, and there was 5 guys and 1 girl. It was
Nice.
awesome.
There we go.
Yeah.
Super cool.
There we go.
Hey guys, thanks a
Thank
lot.
you
Thank you
for all
so
do.
much.
Have a
Leah
great
Gregg,
weekend.
everybody. She knows
See you
everything
guys.
about what's going on in this town. She should run for office. That's would be cool. So thank you so much, Leah. We appreciate it very much. And speaking of Ray, we want to make sure we send out our condolences to Ray.
Yes. Yes.
Our favorite council member whose mom passed away not too long ago. And I don't know, folks, if you had a chance to see Ray talk about his mom at the end of the meeting, it was pretty cool to hear him talk about what his mom was all about and looking over the bridge and talking about things on Fort Myers Beach. We posted just that snip of his video, which you can check out in our video section on the Facebook page. So we did want to make sure we sent our condolences to Ray and his entire family for that.
Definitely.
And also to the family of Dennis Taylor, a local contractor who passed away yesterday. As a matter of fact, I believe he was a painter for one of the businesses across the street, and everybody knows Dennis. He was 62 years old. He had come down with cancer, and he passed away yesterday. So Chad passed that along to us. So condolences
It's a
to
shame.
Dennis's family, only 62 years old. So
Oof,
we
that is
appreciate
young.
everybody filling us in on all the news that we didn't know about. And that was a action-packed show. Holy
Wow.
Christmas is 15
Yes,
minutes after 10
you're
o'clock. We
way
didn't
over.
even talk about your rash. What do you want?
No need.
You want to talk about? Oh, by the way, everybody, it's 1 week after, and the clock is still not fixed. Well, the clock is fixed. It's actually running, but it's 1 hour ahead. I didn't want to get that in there.
Let
though,
it
but,
go.
I mean,
Let
come
it go,
on. It's
dear.
the clock. You know, the thing was that they're doing all these studies about Times Square and redoing
Mhm.
Times Square and making it look really cool. And everyone's going to have new awnings instead of these umbrellas.
What
and
is this?
it's sorry. And then you know what? They're building the not building, but you know, there's one thing that's the iconic thing in Times Square, and that's the clock.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it's still an hour off. But anyway,
Let it go.
I know. People
Let it
were giving me
go.
even grief
It's
about
too
let the clock
much.
go. It's too much about the clock. But as soon
Free
as
the clock from your mind.
that's right, free the clock. It does look lovely, even though the time is incorrect. So, what are we missing? Anything?
That's it.
We're going to have a show tomorrow. We're not going to have a show next week. We want to thank Justin Nasiri. He was on at 8:30. He's got a 3-year-old podcast that he does. All about veterans. It's a really cool podcast, and it's called Beyond the Uniform. So check it out when you can. There's a poppy in my pants. I saw you out there selling the poppies. What were you doing? How many did you
Not
sell?
selling the poppies. You ask for a donation.
Well, how much money did you make for them?
I think I made between 20 and 30.
Nice, very nice. That
People
was
were
cool.
very generous. There are some
What's your
veterans
pitch?
here.
What is your pitch?
Just give me your money.
No,
for the
really.
veterans.
Come on. What'd you say? What'd you say?
No, I just said that, please, while you're enjoying the wonderful breakfast here at Pete's, consider a donation that goes 100% goes to the veterans.
You need to
And you
polish
get
that
a-
up a little bit.
And you get a poppy.
You get a poppy. Very nice. And that's
You're going to get a poppy right in there.
also thanks to Lee Melsick and Ray Sproul for coming on and talking about Bay Oaks. If you get a chance to go check out Bay Oaks down there and visit what they have going on.
More
and play a little
importantly-
pickleball, because pickleball is taking over the world, according to some of our
I
listeners.
know, but more importantly, for those who live here, please get with your friends, get with your neighbors, and give them some input on what you want.
Or if you don't want anything, then tell them that too. I mean, you don't have to tell them what we say to tell them. It's a free country.
I'm just saying, express your opinion one way or the
Express
other.
yourself. Also, thanks to Gail Crabtree and Ellen Vaughn
I
and
love them.
FMB Designs and Remodeling, dear.
Yes. Nikki's such a great supporter, and she offers such a wonderful service to
That's right.
everybody on the beach, and I believe off the beach as well.
Yes.
She's Very
our,
busy. I haven't seen her in a while. You
I
got to
know.
come
She
on
needs to come
down,
on
Nick.
down. She said something
been a
too. She
while.
said something about next time you go on your girl vacation that she wants to go with you. I had
Yes.
no idea what she was talking about. What girl vacation were you on?
To the Grand Canyon.
You were by yourself though. It wasn't a girl
I know,
vacation. She
but
said
I
she's
mean,
going to
I
get in
would
your
get a-
suitcase.
I would get a group together.
Cool.
Maybe we could organize that through Bay Oaks.
I don't get it. I don't get it. And remember, folks, never look directly into the light. Never
No.
look directly into the light. All right. This is the longest show that we've ever done, everybody. We really appreciate everything. And if you can give us a couple bucks for tomorrow, that'd be great. The link is right on the top of our Facebook page. Beach Talk Radio.
You need
Tell
to
your
work on
friends,
that
tell your
pitch.
neighbors, tell everybody that you love the show or not. But whatever you do, what was that all about? Buy a poppy and give your poppy a big, gigantic hug for Father's Day. All right, everybody, take care, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
At
Goodbye,
9 o'clock.
everybody.
Thank you.
You ever get tired of hearing yourself talk?